Thou know'st no law of God nor man, no beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful when devils tell the truth.
More wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed evils, to give me leave, by circumstance, but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe diffused infection of a man for these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
Fairer than tongue can name thee, let me have some patient leisure to excuse myself.
Fouler than heart can think thee, thou canst make no excuse current but to hang thyself.
By such despair I should accuse myself.
And by despairing shouldest thou stand excused for doing worthy vengeance on thyself, which didst unworthy slaughter upon others.
Say that I slew them not.
Why? Then they're not dead, but that they are in devilish slave by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why? Then he is alive.
Nay, he is dead.
Thou wast provoked by thy bloody mind, which never dreamt on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this king?
I grant ye.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too, thou mayst be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he was gentle, mild, and virtuous.
The fitter for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that helped to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon.
Your bedchamber.
Oh, rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so, but gentle Lady Anne, to leave this keen encounter of our wits and fall somewhat into a slower method is not the cause of the timeless deaths of these Plantagenets, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou art the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty which did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world, that I might live 1 hour in thy sweet bosom.
If I thought that I'd held thee homicide, these nails who rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could never endure sweet beauty's wreck. Thou shouldst not blemish it if I stood by, as all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
Black night, oh shade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair lady, thou art both.
I would I were to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loveth you.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to be revenged on him that slew my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband, did it to help thee to a better husband.
His fetter doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
Plantagenet.
Why, that was he.
The self-same name, but one of better nature.
Where is he?
Here.
Out of my sight. Thou dost infect my eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine.
Would they were basilisks to strike thee dead.
I would they were, that I might die at once. For now they kill me with a living death. Teach not thy lips such scorn, lady, for they were made for kissing, not for such contempt. If thy revengeful heart cannot forgive, lo, here I lend thee this sharp-pointed sword, which, if thou please to hide in this true bosom, and let the soul forth that adoreth thee, I lay it naked to the deadly stroke. and humbly beg the death upon my knee. Nay, do not pause, for I did kill King Henry. But 'twas thy beauty that provoked me. Nay, now dispatch. 'Twas I that stabbed young Edward, but 'twas thy heavenly face that set me on. Take up the sword again, or take up me.
Arise, dissembler. Though I wish thy death, I will not be the executioner.
Then bid me kill myself, and I will do it.
I have already.
Touch that was in thy rage. Speak it again, and even with the word. That hand which for thy love did kill thy love, shall, for thy love, kill a far truer love. To both their deaths thou shalt be accessory.
I would I knew thy heart.
Is figured in my tongue.
I fear me both are false.
Then never man was true.
Well, well, put up your sword.
Say then, my peace is made.
That shall you know hereafter.
But shall I live in hope?
All men, I hope, live so.
Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve, but since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Was ever woman in this humour wooed? Was ever woman in this humour won?
Are you meditating on virginity?
Hi, you have some sane of soldier in you. Let me ask you a question. Man is enemy to virginity. How might we barricado it against him?
Keep him out.
But he assails, and our virginity, though valiant in the defence, yet is weak and unfold to us some warlike resistance.
There is none. Man sitting down before you will undermine you and blow you up.
Bless our poor virginity from underminers and blow-uppers. Is there no military policy how virgins might blow up men?
Virginity being blown down, man will quickly be blown up. Marry, and blowing him down again, with the breach yourselves made, you lose your city. It is not politic in the commonwealth of nature to preserve your virginity. Loss of virginity is a rational increase, and there never was virgin got till virginity was first lost. That you were made of is metal to make virgins. Virginity, by being once lost, may be 10 times sound. By being ever kept, it is ever lost. 'Tis too cold a companion. Away with it.
I will stand for it a little. Therefore I die a virgin.
There's a little bit between said in it. 'Tis against the rule of nature. To speak on the part of virginity is to accuse your mothers, which is the most infallible disobedience. He that hangs himself is a virgin. Virginity murders itself and should be buried in highways out of all sanctified limit, as a desperate offendress against nature. Virginity breeds mites, much like a cheese, consumes itself to the very pairing, and so dies with feeding his own stomach. Besides, virginity is peevish, proud, idle, made of self-love, which is the most inhibited sin in the canon. Keep it not. You cannot choose but to lose by it. Go out with it. Within tenure, it will make itself 10, which is goodly increase, and the principle itself, not much the worse. Away with it.
How might one do, sir, to loose it to her own liking?
Let me see. Marry, ill to like him that ne'er it likes. 'Tis a commodity, will lose the gloss with lying. The longer kept, the less worth of it, whilst 'tis vendible. Answer the time of request. Virginity, like an old courtier, wears her cap out of fashion, richly suited, but unsuitable, just like the brooch and the toothpick which wear not now. Your date is better in your pie and in your porridge than in your cheek, and your virginity, your old virginity, is like one of our French withered pears. Yes, it eats dryly. It looks ill. Marry, 'tis a withered pear. It was formerly better. Marry, yes, 'tis a withered pear. Will you anything with it? No.
Not my virginity yet. There shall your master have 1,000 loves, a mother and a mistress and a friend, a phoenix, a captain, and an enemy, a guide, a goddess, and a sovereign, a counsellor, a traitress, and a dear, his humble ambition, proud humility, his jarring concord, his discord dulcet, his faith, the sweet disaster, with a world of pretty foreign adulterous Christendom. That blinking Cupid gossips. Now shall he. I know not what he shall. God send him well. The court's a learning place, and he is one.
Got one of faith?
That I wish well. 'Tis pity
What pity?
that wishing well had not a body in, which might be felt that we, poor born, might with effects of them follow our friends, and show what we alone must think, which never return us thanks.
Little Helen. Farewell. If I can remember thee, I will think of thee at court.
Monsieur Parolles, you were born under a charitable star.
Under Mars,
I especially think under Mars.
Under Mars.
The wars have so kept you under that you must needs be born under Mars.
When he was predominant.
When he was in retrograde, I think, rather.
Why, you think so?
You go so much backward when you fight.
That's for advantage.
So is running away. When fear proposes a safety, but the composition that your valor and fear makes in you is virtue of a good thing, and I like the wear well.
I'm so full of businesses, I cannot answer thee acutely. I will return the perfect courtier, in the which my instruction shall serve to naturalise thee, so thou wilt be capable of a courtier's counsel, and understand what advice shall thrust upon thee, else thou diest in thine unthankfulness, and thine ignorance makes thee away. Farewell. When thou hast leisure, say thy prayers. When thou hast none, remember thy friends. Get thee a good husband, and use him as he uses thee. Farewell.
Our remedies do often ourselves lie, which we ascribe to heaven. The fated sky gives us free scope, only doth backward pull our slow designs when we ourselves are dull. What power is it which mounts my love so high that makes me see and cannot feed mine eye? The mightiest space and fortune brings to join like lights and kiss like native things. Impossible be strange attempts to those that weigh their pains and do suppose what hath been cannot be. Whoever strove to show her merit and did miss her love, the king's disease. My project may deceive me, but my intents are fixed and will not leave me.
Good morrow, Kate, for that's your name, I hear.
Well have you heard, but something hard of hearing. They call me Catherine that do talk of me.
You lie, in faith, for you are called Plain Kate, and Bonny Kate, and sometimes Kate the Cursed. But Kate, the prettiest Kate in Christendom, Kate of Kate Hall, my super dainty Kate. For dainties are all Kates, and therefore, Kate, take this of me, Kate of my consolation. Hearing thy mildness praised in every town, thy virtues spoke of, and thy beauty sounded, though not so deeply as to thee belongs, myself am moved to woo thee for my wife.
Moved? In good time let him that moved you hither remove you hence. I knew you at the first you were immovable.
Why, what's immovable?
A joint stool.
Thou hast hit it. Come, sit on me.
Asses are made to bear, and so are you.
Women are made to bear, and so are you.
No such jade as you, if me you mean.
Alas, good Kate, I will not burden thee, for knowing thee to be but young and light.
Too light for such a swain as you to catch, and yet as heavy as my weight should be.
Should buzz.
Well taken. And like a buzzard.
Oh, slow-winged turtle, shall a buzzard take thee?
I for a turtle as he takes a buzzard.
Come, you wasp, in faith you are too angry.
If I be waspish, best beware my sting.
Here is neither bush nor shrub to bear off any weather at all. And another storm brewing. I can hear it sing in the wind. Yon same black cloud, yon huge one, looks like a foul bombard that would shed his liquor. Ah, if it should thunder again, as it did before, I know not where to hide my head. Yon same black cloud cannot choose but fall by pailfuls. What have we here? A man? Or a fish? Dead? Or alive? A fish? Oh, he smells like a fish. A very ancient and fish-like smell. And not of the newest, poor John. Were I in England, as I once was, and had but this fish painted, there, not a holiday full but would give a piece of silver, there, this monster would make a man. Although any strange creature there makes a man. When they will not give a dwat to relieve a lame beggar, they will lazy out 10 to see a dead Indian. Legged like a man. And his arm warm? Oh my troth. I do now let loose my opinion, hold it in no longer. This here is no fish, but an islander that hath recently suffered by a thunderbolt. Alas, the storm is come again. My best chance is to creep under his garbage. Oh. Oh. There is no other shelter hereabouts. Misery acquaints a man with strange bedfellows.
Tell me, good Brutus, can you see your face?
No, Cassius. The eye sees not itself, but by reflection, by some other things.
'Tis just, and it is very much lamented, Brutus, that you have no such mirrors as will turn your hidden worthiness into your eye, that you might see your shadow. I have heard where many of the best respected Rome, except immortal Caesar, speaking of Brutus and groaning underneath this age's yoke, have wished that noble Brutus had his eyes.
Into what dangers would you lead me, Cassius, that you would have me seek into myself for that which is not in me?
Therefore, good Brutus, be prepared to hear. And since you know you cannot see yourself so well as by reflection, I, your glass, will modestly discover to yourself that of yourself which you yet know not of.
What means this shouting? I do fear the people choose Caesar for their king.
Do you fear it? Then I must think you would not have it so.
I would not, Cassius. Yet I love him well. But wherefore do you hold me here so long? What is it that you would impart to me?
I know that virtue to be in you, Brutus, as well as I do know your outward favour. Well, honour is the subject of my story, and I cannot tell what you and other men think of this life. But for my single self, I had his life not be his life to be, in awe of such a thing as I myself. I was born as free as Caesar, so are you. We both are fed as well, and we can both endure the winter's cold as well as he. And this man is now become a god, and Cassius is a wretched creature and must spend his body if Caesar carelessly but nod on him. He had a fever when he was in Spain, and when the fit was on him, I did mark how he did shake. 'Tis true. This god did shake. His coward lip did from their colour fly. And that same eye, whose bend doth all the world, did lose his lustre. I did hear him groan. I, and that tongue of his that bade the Romans mark him and write his speeches in their book. Alas, it cried, "Give me some drink to Tinius," as the sick girl.
Another general shout. I do believe that these applauses are for some new honours that are heaped on Caesar.
Why, man, he doth bestride the narrow world like a colossus, and we petty men walk under his huge legs and peep about to find ourselves dishonourable graves. Men sometimes are masters of their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, that we are underlings. Brutus and Caesar. What should be in that Caesar? Why should that name be sounded more than yours? Write them together. Yours is as fair a name. Sound them, it doth become the mouth as well. Weigh them, it is as heavy. Conjure with them. Brutus will start a spirit as soon as Caesar.
That you do love me, I am nothing jealous. What you would work me to, I have some aim. What you have said, I will consider. What you have to say, I will with patience hear, and find a time both meet to hear and answer such high things. Till then, my noble friend, chew upon this. Brutus had rather be a villager than to repute himself a son of Rome under these hard conditions as this time is like to lay upon us.
I am glad that my weak words have struck but thus much show of fire from Brutus.
Casca, tell us what has chanced today that Caesar looks so sad.
Why, you were with him, were you not?
I should not then ask Casca what had chanced.
Why, there was a crown offered him, and being offered him, he put it by with the back of his hand, thus, and then the people fell a-shouting.
What was the second noise for?
Why, for that too.
Shouted thrice, what was the last cry for?
Why, for that too.
Was the crown offered him thrice?
Aye, marry wast, and he put it by thrice, every time gentler than other. And at every putting by, mine honest neighbours shouted.
Who offered him the crown?
Why, Antony.
Tell us the manner of it, gentle Casca.
I can as well be hanged as tell the manner of it. It was mere foolery. I did not mark it. I saw Mark Antony offer him a crown, yet 'twas not a crown, 'twas one of these coronets. And as I told you, he put it by once. But for that to my thinking, he would fain have had it. Then he offered it to him again, and then he put it by again. But to my thinking, he was very loath to lay his fingers off it. And then he offered it the third time, and he put it the third time by. And still, as he refused it, the rabblement hooted and clapped their chapped hands and threw up their sweaty nightcaps and uttered such a deal of stinking breath because Caesar refused the crown that it has almost choked Caesar, for he swounded and fell down at it. And for mine own part, I durst not laugh, for fear of opening my lips and receiving the bad air.
But soft, I pray you, what did Caesar swound?
He fell down the marketplace and foamed at mouth and was speechless.
This is very like he hath the falling sickness.
No, Caesar hath it not. But you and I and honest Casca, we have the falling sickness.
I know not what you mean by that, but I am sure Caesar fell down. If the tag-rag people did not clap him and hiss him, according as he pleased and displeased them, as they used to do the players in their theatre, I am no true man.
For this time, I will leave you. Tomorrow, if you please to speak with me, I will come home to you, or, if you will, come home to me, and I will wait for you.
I will do so. Till then, think of the world. And after this, let Caesar seat him sure, for we will shake him, or worse days endure.
Well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love, and it hath taught me to rhyme and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme, and here my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady. By the world, I would not care a pin if the other three were in. Oh, here comes one. With a paper. God give him grace to groan.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not to this fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams when their fresh rays have smote the night dew that on my cheeks down flows. Nor shines the silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep. This doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear I do weep. No drop but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. Yes. But do not love thyself, and thou wilt keep my tears for glasses, and still make me weep. Oh, Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue of mortal tell. How can she know my griefs? Oh, paper. Sweet leaves, shade fully. Who is he comes here? What? Nonaville? Reading. Listen here.
Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, against whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. A woman I forswore, but I will prove. Thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained, 'tis all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapour is. Then thou, fair sun, which on my earth dost shine, exhalest this vapour vow, in thee it is. If broken then, it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise, to lose an oath to win a paradise? By whom shall I send this? Company, stay.
On a day, alack, the day, month as ever may, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. But alack, my heart is sworn, near to pluck thee from thy thorn. Vow, alack, for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me, that I am forsworn for thee, that thou for whom Jove would swear, Juno but an arsehole here, and deny himself for Jove, turning mortal for thy love. This will I send, and something else more plain, that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the king, Byron and Longaville were lovers too, ill to example ill, would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend where all like do dote.
Good man, thy love is far from charity. You may look pale, but I should blush, I know, to be overheard and taken napping so.
Sir, you blush, as is your case is such. You chide at him, offending twice as much.
Now step I forth to whip some hypocrisy. That you three fools lacked me fool to make up the mess. He, and you, my liege, and I are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. Have you then affections, men's at arms? Consider what you first did swear unto, to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Stay, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. And where that you have vowed to study, lords, and that each of you have forsworn his book, Can you still dream and pore and thereon look? For when would you, my lord, or you, have found the ground of study's excellence without the beauty of a woman's face?
Why, universal plodding poisons up the nimble spirits in the arteries, as motion and long-during action tires the sinewy vigour of the traveller. Now, for not looking on a woman's face, you have in that forsworn the use of eyes, and study too, the causer of your vow. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourself, and where we are learning likewise is, then when ourselves we see in ladies' eyes, do we not likewise see our learning there? Oh, we have made a vow to study, lords, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. For when would you, my liege, or you, in leading contemplation, have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with? Other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore, finding barren practices, scarce show a harvest of their heavy toil.
But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immersed in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power. Above their functions and their offices, it adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eye will gaze an eagle blind, a lover's ear will hear the lowest sound. When the suspicious head of theft is stopped, love's feeling is more soft and sensible than the tender horns of cockled snails. Love's tongue proves dainty, back as gross in taste. For valor is not love a Hercules, still climbing trees in the Hesperides? Subtle as Sphinx, as sweet and musical, as bright as Apollo's lute, as strung with his hair. And when love speaks, the voice of all the gods makes heaven drowsy with the harmony.
Never durst poet touch a pen to write until his ink were tempered with love's sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish savage ears and plant in tyrants mild humility. From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They sparkle till the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academes that show, contain, and nourish all the world, else none at all in aught proves excellent. Then fools you were, these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn, you will prove fools. For wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, or for love's sake, a word that loves all men, or for men's sake, the authors of these women, or for women's sake, by whom we men are men. Let us once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is for religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law. And who can sever love from charity?
All right, guys. Sorry I'm late. How's the studying going?
Meantime, we shall express our darker purpose. Give me the map. Know that we have divided in three our kingdom, and 'tis our fast intent to shake all cares and business from our age, conferring them on the young strength, while we, unburdened, crawl towards death. Our son of Cornwall, and you, our no less loving son of Alnley, we have this hour a constant will to publish our daughters several dowers so that future strife may be prevented now. The princes of France and Burgundy, great rivals in our youngest daughter's love, long in our court made their amorous sojourn, and here are to be answered. Tell me, since we are now to divest us both of your interested territory, cares of state, which of you shall we say doth love us most, that we, our largest bounty, may extend when nature doth with merit challenge? Goneril, our eldest born, speak first.
Sir, I love you. More than words can wield the matter. Dearer than eyesight, space, liberty, beyond what can be valued, rich or rare. No less than life, with grace, health, beauty, honor, as much as child ever loved or father found. A love that makes breath poor and speech unable, beyond all manner of so much. I love you.
And what shall Cordelia do? Love and be silent?
Of all these bounds, even from this line to this, with shadowy forests, with champaigns rich, with plenteous rivers and wide-skirted meads, we make thee lady to thine, and Albany's issue be this perpetual. What says our second daughter, our dearest Regan, wife to Cornwall? Speak.
Sir, I am made of the self-same metal that my sister is, and prize me at her worth. In my true heart, I find she names my very deed of love, only she comes too short. That I profess myself an enemy to all other joys which the most precious square of sense possesses, and find I am alone felicitate in your dear Highness's love.
Then poor Cordelia. And yet not so, since I'm sure that my love is more richer than my tongue.
To thee and thine hereditary ever remain this ample third of our kingdom, no less in space, validity, and pleasure than conferred on Goneril. Now, our joy, although the last, not the least, the vines of France and Burgundy strive to be interest. What can you say to draw a third more opulent than your sisters? Speak.
Nothing, my lord.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing will come, nothing. Speak then.
Unhappy that I am, I cannot heave my heart into my mouth. I love your majesty according to my bond, no more nor less.
How, Cordelia, mend your speech a little, lest it may mar your fortunes.
Good my lord, you have begot me, bred me, loved me. I return those duties back as I right fit. Obey you, love you, and most honor you. Why have my sisters husbands if they say they love you all? Haply, when I shall wed, that lord whose hand must take my plight shall carry half my love with him, half my care, and half my duty. Sure I shall never marry like my sisters, to love my father all.
But goes thy heart with this?
Aye, good my lord.
So young and so untender.
So young, my lord, and true.
Let it be so. Thy truth then be thy dower. For by the sacred radiance of the sun, the mysteries of the day and the night, by the orbs whom we do exist and cease to be, here I disclaim all my paternal care, the princely and the pride of blood, and as a stranger to my heart and me, hold thee from this forever. The barbarous Scythian, or he who does his generation masses by gorging his appetite, shall be to my bosom as well neighboured, pitied, and relieved as thou, my sometime daughter.
You see how full of changes his age is? The observation we have made of it has not been little. He always loved our system most, and with what poor judgment he has now cast her off appears too grossly.
The infirmity of his age, yet he hath ever but slenderly known himself.
The best and soundest of his time hath been but rash. Then must we look to receive from his age not alone the imperfections of long and grass condition, but there without the unruly waywardness that infirm and choleric years bring with them.
Such unconstant starts are we like to have.
Pray you, let's hit together. If our father carry authority with such dispositions as he bears, this last surrender of his will but offend us.
We shall further think on it.
We must do something, and in the heat.
Oh, give me leave. How does my good Lord Hamlet?
Well, God a mercy.
Do you know me, my lord?
Excellent, well. You're a fishmonger.
Not I, my lord.
Then I would you were so honest a man.
Honest, my lord?
Aye, sir. To be honest, as this word goes, is to be one man picked out of 10,000.
That's very true, my lord.
For if the sun breed maggots in a dead dog, being a god-kissing carrion. Have you a daughter?
I have, my lord.
Let her not walk in the sun. Conception is a blessing, but not as your daughter may conceive. Friend, look to it.
How say you by that? Still harping on my daughter? Yet he knew me not at first. He said I was a fishmonger. He is far gone, far gone. And truly, in my youth I suffered much extremity for love, very nervous. I'll speak to him again. What do you read, my lord?
Words. Words. Words.
What is the matter, my lord?
Between whom?
I mean the matter that you read, my lord.
Slander, sir. For the satirical rogue says here that old men have grey beards, that the faces are wrinkled, their eyes purging thick amber and plum tree gum, and that they have a most plentiful lack of wheat together with most weak hams. All of which, sir, though I must powerfully importantly believe, yet I hold it not honestly to have it thus set down. For yourself, sir, should be as old as I am, if like a crab you could go backward.
Though this be madness, yet there is method in it. Will you walk out of the air, my lord?
Into my grave?
Indeed, that is out of the air. How pregnant sometimes his replies are. A happiness that often madness hits on, which reason and sanity could not so prosperously be delivered of. I will leave him, and suddenly contrive a means of meeting between him and my daughter. My honourable lord, I will most humbly take my leave of you.
You cannot, sir, take from me anything that I will more willingly part withal. Except my life.
accept my life. Accept my life.
Fare you well, my lord.
These tedious old fools. My uncle father and Aunt Martha are deceived. I am but mad north-northwest. When the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsome.
You left us.